Alright guys, welcome back. Doing another deck tech here in Modern. This is a Naya Humans build. It's almost like a throwback or a nod to the Naya Blitz decks that were in the old Innistrad Standard when Return to Ravnica came out and Gatecrash came out. Basically, I think once Pod and Treasure Cruise and Victory Time leave the format, that a lot of aggro decks can kind of come back. So I'm trying to mess around with certain ones. I think Big Zoo might be very well positioned, but I think decks like this could be a lot of fun as well. And once you kind of mess around with them and get things right, like this hasn't been tested very thoroughly, but I've kind of threw it together just with just thinking it'd be a lot of fun, and it has been so far. There's probably better 2-drops I could put in, but let me get right to it so you can see what I'm talking about here. So first off, let's start with the 1-drops. And necessary is Champion of the Parish. I mean, if you're going to do a humans deck, he's pretty much an auto include. He gets big pretty quickly, and he's phenomenal. So there's not much to say about that. Next, the other 1-drop is Experiment 1. Same thing, actually. He's a little different than the champion, as in he doesn't get triggered every time a human comes in, but every time something bigger than him comes in, he gets triggered when that happens. He gets to be at least a 3/3, I'd say, in this pretty quickly. Those are our 2 1-drop creatures. We have Path, straight up removal. Lightning Bolt, same thing. Playing red in Modern and not using Lightning Bolt, I would recheck your strategy. One mana for 3 damage. You know, we know it's good. Let's go to our 2-drops here. This sort of thing get a little interesting. Mare is, I think, is an auto include because he's your Anthem effect. Honor of the Pure is no longer valid because you guys aren't all white. Actually, none of your guys are white except for a champion. So he's your Anthem, and he can make even more dudes. Pardon me. So it's pretty sweet. He also can get cast off of our next card, which is Burning Emissary. A card that has not seen a lot of play since the left standard. I think some people threw it in some rule aggro decks and maybe some other zoo decks at the get-go. But it's a pretty solid card in this, as it can cast most of our 2-drops and some of our 1-drops. Our next 2-drop is Scab Clan Mauler, and this is where things get a little interesting. I did a little search for him. I didn't remember him off the top of my head. He's from, I think it looks like Guild Pact or Deception. I don't know. That's the symbol sometimes, excuse me. But anyway, he is 2 for a 1/1, which doesn't sound too great, but he has Bloodthirst 2. So, and he has Trample, which is pretty sweet. So, you'd have to watch when you play him. Like, you wouldn't just play him out to evolve a champion or to, pump a champion. You would attack first and then play him. But I don't think that's a huge drawback. If you're getting in there for 1 instead of 2, but you're getting a 3/3 instead of a 1/1. So I think that's pretty sweet. He does cast off Emissary as well, so that's all good. Then we have Lightning Helix. It's pretty standard. It's a pretty sweet card. So then this might change, but right now I have 3 walkers in here. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to stay the same or not, but I don't know if they're too mana intensive because I have 21 lands right now. But a Johnny. So it's one of those games I can just kind of get you. You play a Johnny and you 4 clan, and it could be just game over. But the fact that he gets counters is pretty sweet, and the Flying Double Strike is pretty nice to give your giant champion or something an extra boost. Then we have Domri, and Domri gets creatures. We have 24 in the deck. We also he can fight. Our guys can get bigger. Then if you get his emblems, it's game over. Sorry, they're doing maintenance soon. So that gives away what day I'm doing this on. And lastly, we have 4 Clan Rampager. So it's pretty self-explanatory. He gets damage through. If I'm doing any aggro deck with red and green, I think he has to go in there. It's hard not to include him. The lands are pretty um, simple as well. I got 4 of each fetch, 4 foothills, and 4 heaths. Um, but I have 4 temple gardens, 4 stomping grounds, 1 of each basic, and a Kessig Wolf run. So just to get just get more damage through. There's times you need to pump the last few points through, and that's you don't want to ever go too much in the late game with this deck. So I don't think you'll survive. But you want to be as fast as possible, as much damage as possible, and that's what you're trying to do. So that's the main deck. As I said, it's going to get some work done on it. It might even get scrapped, if I don't feel it's strong enough. But for now, it's been some fun. Here's the sideboard, though. So sideboard here is, once again, you'll see this in a lot of white decks I have, just because it's a good card. But it's also a human. She's good for Storm, she's good for Burn, good for Delver, good for combo type decks. She triggers champion. Mark of Asylum, again, keeps your dudes alive from Burn, Pyroclasm, and things like that. I mean, obviously they can still kill him with Slaughter Pact and go for the throat and dismember, but that's okay. Rest in peace for the Graveyard Hate. This deck doesn't need its graveyard at all. And I think graveyard decks will be very strong post banning. They unbanned Golgari Grave Troll, which I don't know if that's a huge deal, but it might make those decks like Vengevine and Bloodghast and those cards a lot stronger. Even Living End might come back. Who knows? But this card will be necessary against those decks. That's for sure. And Stony Silence for the Affinity matchup. Maybe even for Tron. Ancient Grudge, same thing. Affinity and Tron. Choke for the Control matchup. Revelry, Affinity, Tron, Boggles. Boggles could be a problem with this deck. The life gain, and this is basically for Daybreak Coronet and Armadillo, or Switching Courage, Armadillo Cloak. I don't even run that, actually. I think it's just Coronet. And then Gaddock Teague is to help for Escape Shift and other combo decks, and Cryptic Command and things like that. But that is a deck. As I said, I will work on it more. I will be testing it to see if it's viable, see if it's strong enough to compete. If it's not, I'll probably scrap it. But I did want to give it a try. Cause it was a lot of fun to play in the old standard. I think it just got a little better with modern. I probably will be doing some more research for more humans maybe. But I think this is where I want to be for now. So thanks for tuning in. I'll be doing a few matches of this as well. So I'll see you then.